Hey guys, welcome back into another YouTube video, and I'll be doing another Python video today. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a few simple short videos on just simple coding in Python. Not too complicated, just so a few people can really understand how to code. I'm gonna make this sort of a little. I'll probably make it about a 10 views on this. So if you want to learn Python in a simple way, then also please contact Mars Academy. They're a really good site, and you get about 20 classes, 1.5 hours each. It's really good with an instructor, and you can learn how to do projects. You can learn how just coding in Python, and you can also select your level if you're just beginning, or if you want to get more bit advanced. You can do what you want to do. I'll put their link in the description and in the comments down below, so please do take a look at their website. And this is I did take a course on Python, and this is everything you see in this video will be in Mars Academy's their courses. It's their site. So yeah, let's get into the video. So first of all, I'm not really gonna do much. I'm just in this video. I'll just talk about print. So the print function is extremely simple. So what the print does, it just prints something on the display over here. So basically, all you have to print is print, and then in parentheses and quotes, just print whatever you want to print. So in this case, we'll be print hello world. There's some history which goes back to it, because the first person who coded in Python, his first statement was hello world. So if I just press the play button here real quick in the top right, I think you can see it prints hello world. So, and yeah, as you can see, this little pop-up here, it's from the Academy. So again, take a look at their website and you can learn how to code in Python. So we can print anything else too. We can print I don't know, we can print just hi within 2 exclamation marks, and it'll print that. You guys tend to pop up because it wants me to print hello world, but that's fine. You can print anything you want using the print statement. Print tea or anything you want. So it's time for tea, and it'll print anything you want. Again, you can also do multiple prints. As you can see here, what this is gonna do is it's gonna print in columns. Because as you can see, it's printing in columns here. So it'll print hello, and then it'll print hello again, and then hello again. So it's quite simple, super duper easy right now. Again, it's another print statement. Okay, so here is one more thing using the print statement. So as you can see, it's all the same stuff except for line 2, and line 4. So this is called the input function. So what the input function does is that you can as a user, you can input your whatever you want to say. For example, if you're as you guys probably know, outside in like museums and stuff like that, they'll have these quizzes basically saying hello, how are you, or anything, anywhere. It'll say hello, how are you, and then you can put your input in. So this is basically what the input statement is doing. So hello, how are you, it prints there, and then it opens this little text box for me, or text box, sorry. So if you play it again, hello, how are you, I can put in good, and then sorry about that, it's supposed to say I'm pretty good. So just add the I'm in, and everything that I want to print must be inside the quotes and the parentheses, because that's the only way the computer will know that you want to print it. So how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm pretty good. And then we can just put bye or whatever you want. So that's of course super duper simple. Just print, and then the input function you can input. It's basically an option for a user input. Next we can, so this is again data input. So this is a bit more complicated. As you can see, a few different things here. I'm just gonna go through it a bit quickly. So what I mean by team is I'm putting all of this into a variable. So since I put input, so basically, as you guys probably know by now, don't take any of these lines into consideration right now. Just look at this first line. Team equals input, and then which is your favorite Premier League team. So because I put the input there, it knows that it has to print which is your favorite Premier League team because it's in the bracket on the code, and then input is also before it. So that's how it knows that it'll print which is your favorite Premier League team. And then why I have team equals over here is basically I'm putting the input to this question into a variable. So basically now the answer to this is stored. So the computer is storing, for example, if I just put which is for Premier League team, I'm just gonna put high on, it's not a team. So it's storing it, and now it knows to put high. So I'll go why it's putting high over there, but it's storing the answer to which is for Premier League team. It's storing the input to that question. Again, you have the same thing, it's a variable. So if you want to save it, if you want to store it, you have to use a variable. Player equals input, who is your favorite player on, and then the parentheses end, plus team, plus question mark. So now what we're doing is we're printing who is your favorite player in, and then since it is storing the input to team, it just adds in team, because basically the input, so basically high is the input for team, and it's storing that, and it adds high in there because right now team is equal to high, because team is equal to the input of which is your favorite Premier League team, and the input to that is high. So shorter terms, team equals high. So who is your favorite player in high, and then the question mark at the end. So if you want to add a variable, you have to end the quotes plus team, and then you don't need the question mark there, but just proper grammar. And then you can again do to print something else again, which is not a variable. You have to go back into the quotes and do it. So if I put an actual Premier League team now, Chelsea, who's your favorite player in Chelsea? And now my actual favorite team, Man City, who's your favorite player in Man City? So I can put in any club. I can even put in an American football club, my favorite American football club. So it's just storing team variable. It doesn't care what it is. It just stores it and then it adds it in there. Now we have another variable, y equals input. Why do you like plus team? So why do you like, and then again, as I told you, the input to this one, the input to line number 1 is team. So why do you like, I'll just put it again, Man City, if you put on Man City, why do you like Man City? Again, so it's just adding my variables in because it stores them, because I'm using the variable function, which is basically a word equals. And you can use any word for this as long as it's not reserved by Python, or reserved, like words which are actually in the code, such as if or print. You can't say print equals input. Well, you can, but it won't count as a variable. So you can use anything you'd like, but just to make it easier, I'm using actual things that make sense. Okay, so this is a bit more complicated. Line 4, player 2 equals input, who is your next favorite player in plus team after plus player. So if we just simplify this if we just simplify it a lot, who is your next favorite player in Man City, because plus team, Man City equals to team, and then plus, that's a space, guys. So right there, it's a space. So that cap is a space. So who is your next favorite player in Man City after player? So if you have spaces, you do have to add anything which is in spaces, quotations, anything, you have to add it inside the quotes. So again, it's the same thing. It's just adding these two lines. So it's just adding an extra variable to make it one step more complicated, and then after just to get for the grammar. Okay, here is one more thing. Line 5 and line 2, and sorry, line 5 and line 6, I've sorted them as num1 and num2, number 1, number 2. So integer. So what is an integer? An integer is basically a whole number. So if you're using a number that's not whole, we would say float. So that's basically the term in Python for decimal number. So why I'm putting this is we are merging numbers and strings. So anything which is in a quotation is called a string, and you can't merge them unless you define them. If I don't have integer here, it won't work because you cannot concatenate strings and integers. It's not possible in Python. So that's why I'm defining this one as an integer. So note that the input or the answer is going to be an integer, not a string. It will be a number. So the computer is ready for the number, and it's basically it's how Python works, right? So we have to say, for example, it's only strings. Then I could put string. If it's going to be a decimal number, I would put float. So I'm just going to take out these two integers real quick, and I'm going to show you guys what's going to happen. Of course, also for the integer, you have to put the input into a parentheses, because otherwise it's going to merge integer and input. So this is input stuff, which I will come back to later. So if I play it now, it's going to say bad input. Right now, I can't concatenate these two strings together. So that is why the integer is necessary in this code. You need to have it to make sure that the computer knows that it's an integer, not a string. So integer is super important, and you must make sure it is there. And if you guys are coding in Python and then you just see a bad input, or you see a can't mix or can't concatenate, it's normally that you're not defining your integer or strings or float or anything that you're supposed to define. Last one is super simple. It's just a print statement. Print the total number of players is, and then we're doing a bit of math here. Again, as you guys know, num1 plus num2. Yes, Python can do math. It's just adding these two. So num1 is this one, num1 to the answer, because it asks us how many goals player 1 has scored, and then how many goals player 2 has scored, and then the total number of goals scored by these two players is blank plus blank. So if I play the entire thing real quick, which is your Premier League team? Manchester City, and then it stores Man City because it's in a variable. Who's the favorite player in Man City? De Bruyne. Who do you like? Why do you like Manchester City? Again, it's storing Man City, so it knows. I just support them, or I'm just gonna put for now because they are good. I know my spelling, that's okay. Who's the favorite player in Man City after De Bruyne? So it's storing De Bruyne, or De Bruyne, however you say it. It's storing it in a variable, and the variable is called player, and I'm calling player again over here after, I'm calling player again. So who's the favorite? Aguero, how many goals has De Bruyne scored? Last season he scored 11. Aguero scored 18, I think, I don't know. And then it just does a bit of math over there. So it's just simple. So I'm going to end this video right here. But to summarize, what we learned is the print function. It can print wherever you put in the string or wherever you put in the parentheses and the quotations. The variable function, it will store the answer or the input to that question. And lastly, the integer, string, and float. I haven't yet gone to the float and strings, but basically you have to define what they are if you are mixing them together. In this case, I'm mixing the string because in the quotations I'm mixing them, so I must define integer because I'm going to put a number here. 11 is a number, so I'll put it there. Print something, variable, you can store it, and then integer, string, and float, just so that Python works, because you can't mix those two numbers. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, because I need to know if you guys enjoyed it and if this actually helps you guys, and I can make more videos. If you go on, I'll get into a bit more complicated stuff, how to if loops, while loops, all of those stuff. And then yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching.